Yeah, thanks all for coming. I know there's been a bit said in the last few days around JL's resignation, so I think it's the right time to talk about it. So happy to answer any questions.
Pat, you said that you needed a new style of coaching and a new skill set. So what is that style, that skill set that you want? And then secondly, if you could also answer, what was it about Justin Langer that you thought he didn't have in terms of what you were hoping to get?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't think it's really fair for everyone. But I think, in recent days, Cricket Australia's come out and said a few things. JL's said some things himself, so I feel like he's given me permission to say a couple more things than I probably perhaps first would have. But I think, this group looking forward, there's a few things that I think through the review process we really wanted and thought was important to get the best of our players. So that's, I think the players would benefit from a more collaborative approach. I think a big theme for this summer has been being more calm, more composed, and that's been really clear in the feedback from players, support staff, and Cricket Australia. And I think that's the direction we want to take the team.
Can you say why you think Justin Langer couldn't offer you that?
Yeah, I think first of all, there's so many positives to what JL's brought to the table. He's a perfect man for the times. He did a fantastic job. Absolutely loved working with him. Thought he was brilliant. But I think some of these skill sets are a little bit different to perhaps his traditional coaching style. And I think he tweaked his coaching style in the last 6 months. He did a really, really good job. But we think it's now's the right time for a different direction, and it's a matter of opinion, but we think it's the right one.
Pat, you mentioned ethics in your statement, Pat, and how you want to move on with a team that's more ethical. Do those sort of ethics and manners around the game include everything from ball tampering to sledging? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, of course. I think we've been really well schooled in the last 4 years, by JL in how to conduct ourselves. He's got unimpeachable values, and we're really thankful for that for the last 4 years. He was brilliant. I think he's what we needed. I think he's made us better people, better players because of it. And now, I think we're really well versed in what that is. We know when we pull on the baggy green what that means, how we need to conduct ourselves. So absolutely don't want to lose sight of that. I guess for us it's making sure we uphold those standards. But in terms of the coaching style and where we want to take this team, I reckon a slightly different style is needed.
Pat, you said in your press release some words to the effect that you needed to respect the process, which is understandable. But it's hard not to step back and go, if this is what the process delivered, the process could have been better, this could have been handled better. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult. I think, being in a public role is always going to come with it some commentary and some scrutiny around the process. I know Cricket Australia wanted to run a thorough process and kind of give it its due course. So of course, I think, especially JL, if he felt like at the end of it he's hasn't been fairly treated, that's not on, and I hope we can learn from that. I'd say I don't think he should be surprised though. It's been 2 years of evaluations in our environment at Cricket Australia. It's probably pretty boring, but we get 360 reviewed all the time. So we get our strengths and weaknesses poked, prodded, always trying to learn on it. So I think it's become more public probably in the last week or two, but I don't think there's any big surprises. So I actually haven't really had much of it before, so it's actually been it's been good to get it out of the way early in the captaincy. I knew when I took on the job it was going to come without its scrutiny, and so the last week's been good to know that I'll cop it, but I'm absolutely fine with it. I know a lot of it's come from the right place. We all want to do what's best for Australian cricket, so the environment's great. As you said, we're just coming off a World Cup and Ashes. We're in a great spot. The environment's brilliant. So yeah, not lose sight of that.
But just following up Mitchell Johnson specifically, like, you know, he's a former teammate of yours. Is that hurt coming from Mitchell, and has he reached out to you since he's made those comments?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe a fast bowler's having a go at me. Look, he's just standing up for his mates. I absolutely disagree with what he said, but no, he hasn't reached out. But that's fine. He's, entitled to his opinion. He's standing up for his mate. But yeah, I can hold my head high, so I'm fine.
Have you spoken to Justin last few days, and how was that, and what would you say your relationship with Justin is?
Yeah, we've had a few messages over the last few days, and no, we're all good. Yeah, just from my point of view, I've just got huge respect for the man. I love what he's done. I owe him a lot. He's been brilliant, not only for this team, but me individually. He's given me a lot of opportunity, backed me in a lot. So, yeah, that's probably more or less what I passed on to him. And yeah, we're all good, and hopefully we can catch up soon and talk about it. And yeah, he's someone I'm sure in the future I'll keep leaning on because yeah, he gives out a lot.
You mentioned about, I guess, maybe needing a more calm, collaborative kind of approach. Is Andrew McDonald the kind of guy who might bring that if he were to take the job?
Yeah, he could do. I mean, again, it's not my place to speculate on who's going to get the job, but yeah, I think he's been brilliant in his time here around the group. He's a really good people manager. He knows how to get the best out of each individual, and yeah, I love working with him. So I don't know about the process going forward or who's going to be up for it. I'm sure. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it, but in the interim, I'm excited to work with maybe Pakistan.
And the other strong view in play on splitting up the role, what kind of features that's exactly what.
Yeah, not super strong. I think, and back to Justin, he's had 4 years in a row. Cricket doesn't have an off season. It's 3 formats. It's a big role, and I think that's been pretty consistent with past coaches. So it's a big role. It's probably unlike any other coaching role in other sports. So yeah, I think I'd be open to anything really, Matt. But no super strong views.
So, captains and senior players from basically each generation have had the opportunity to have an input into coaches as they've been appointed over time. I just wondered how you felt about the reaction you copped, given that you had that sort of input, and how you feel about the office of captains that have been chosen.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of emotion flying around, so I think I think added to the feedback, you got to take everything, in that kind of context. They're all people I really respect, so I listen to for sure, and I'd welcome chatting to any of them, directly about feedback and thoughts they have. But yeah, we're custodians of the Australian cricket team. It's not forever, and we just want to do what's best. And me as captain, I want to do what's best for Australian cricket, best for this team. That's the responsibility I've been given, and I'll take that really seriously. I think the reality is of some of those comments as well is, the Aussie cricket team is full of cricket players. It's our job, and in fairness, the 11 players, they're the guys that are out there on the field. So absolutely, I think it's fair that we get a say.
And at the end of your statement, you said that you understand everyone sticking up for their mates and you're going to stick up for yours. So how do you see yourself sticking up for your mates?
Yeah, well, my responsibility as captain is to my teammates, to the environment, and to Australian cricket. So, as part of the feedback process, I canvassed as many thoughts as I could. And I know being captain, that carries a bit more weight and a bit more voice than perhaps others do. So, I'm sticking up for them, making sure they're heard. And as well, I hope in some regards I'm keeping the sanctity of the change room and not overstepping my mark.
So you want a more collaborative approach, and on that topic, do you want to take some more responsibility for the team as a captain compared to other captains in the college?
I don't know about that. I'm a big believer and the team is as well. We've done a lot of work on this in the last kind of 12 months. Is owning your own space and really taking control of your own game and giving each other the space to do that as well. And that's a really similar philosophy to what I want to do as captain and the way I see getting the best out of players. So I don't think it's taking any more responsibility than previous captains, but as much as anything, just making sure I'm backing the teammates and giving them the space when they need it.
What's gone on the last couple of weeks with all the infection and the focus is sort of dragged out. Has that weighed on you quite a bit? And it's been the toughest experience of your cricket career? I guess the weight of everything that's been going on.
No, not at all. In terms of toughest, I spent 6 years out with injury and came back from that. So I knew when I took this job there was going to be some criticism. If anything, it's reaffirmed where my responsibilities and lie with as a job. I've got a very happy change room, very harmonious change room, incredibly motivated group of people, and that's where my responsibility lies. And I think I'm doing what's best for Australian cricket when I make these decisions and give the feedback. And I'm sure people have a difference of opinion with that, but that's my opinion.
Had that meeting with Dick Hockley and Phil Eddings back in August with Tim Payne and Vic. From that point, were the players' minds made up then? Was there, you won a World Cup in that instance, was there anything Justin could have done to change minds by that point, or is it sort of trail less than much this morning?
It's been running reviews. That was one review, but we've been running reviews for a couple of years really, and that was one of them. Yeah, I think he tweaked and changed a lot and was brilliant since then. I really do. He made some big changes and deserves a lot of credit for that. I guess the question, after the success of the last couple of months became, do we think it's sustainable? And again, it's probably a matter of there's varying opinions of this, but we thought no, it's the right time to make a change.
Just going back to a couple of questions previously about the role of the captaincy. Do you think that you would like to see the balance change in terms of how decisions are made within the team, in terms of who has the power or the balance of power between captain and coach? Do you see that changing, or has it changed?
I think it's a real collaboration. It's a really tight collaboration between the support staff and the team. To be honest, I've grown up, and every cricket team I've seen and seen well run, the captain's the one that takes probably more responsibility than other sports. And I think that serves well. But you need a really tight support staff around you, who you work with. So, yeah.
So just a sense from outside is that you're putting your stamp on this team, that this is your team. Is that a change? Is that something you want? Do you want to rest a bit of, I don't know if control is the right word, but a bit more of your leadership style on the team rather than the coaching style?
Yeah, I've canvassed a lot of the players, so I think I've spent a lot of time in this environment. Got really good relationships with players, support staff. I think I've got a pretty good grasp on what's going to work best for this environment and get the best out of the players. And I honestly think this is for the right. This change is right and it's needed. And people have different opinions on that. But I believe this is what's going to get the best out of our team.
I'll just take a couple more notes. And just on that, Pat, if you're going to put more of your stamp on the team, how much say will you have in who ultimately replaces JL?
Yeah, similar to JL's, contract renewal. We're not part of we're part of the feedback process, but that's solely up to the board, high performance department, CEO. So we weren't part of that. I didn't know what the process, how it was going to run, what the end result was going to be. I'm
If you want Ronnie as the coach, or you want someone else say, I'd like him to be the coach?
Yeah, it's part of feedback. Yeah, I'm sure. And it's up to Cricket Australia to give that the relevant weight. Yeah, we're all professionals here, so if we didn't get the coach we wanted, that's fine. We'd keep playing. There's no stress.
You said earlier that Taylor made some adjustments in his coaching over the past 6 months. How would you describe those adjustments?
Yeah, he. I think similar to what I said earlier, we sat down. We had a couple of instances where we kind of wanted to really kind of flesh out our team culture and what we think is important and what we think is going to get the best out of our group. And a few of those things that came out really strongly was, as I said, owning your own space, having a really calm, consistent, composed environment in which to operate. And yeah, I think to his credit, Jay was fantastic in the last 6 months.
We'll go to Louis then, so let's throw it back.
We've had the women winning the Ashes that really didn't get much coverage. We've had the Sri Lankan series that hasn't really been talked about, and Pakistan coming up. Are you ready to now get back to cricket rather than everything else that's been sort of crowding all the time?
Absolutely, I'd love that. For sure, yeah. You know, the women's team were fantastic, won the Ashes, an amazing Test match. That maybe didn't get as much limelight as it potentially would have if there was a bit of clear air. Yeah, so I mean, this group's, as I said, incredibly motivated, excited for what's to come. You know, travelling to Pakistan for the first time in 25 years, we're pumped. We can't wait to get back to playing cricket. Just won an Ashes, but you know, we want more. We want to do better.
You know, when your names get read out in that pot, a lot of people think a lot of names in there and no one seems to be really sure how it all works. And really exciting for that. They're going to be a few boys on the deadlines.
Yeah, honest answer is no. I think I'm in a top a 10 list or something, which apparently comes up front. But honestly, I don't even know what date the auction is. It's 13th or 14th or 15th or something like that. I knew it was up the next week, but honestly, I haven't spent too much time on it.
Last one here was Benny.
When Nick Hoppy was talking on Saturday, he referenced team unity as one of the reasons why he felt the decision needed to be made. Was that something you were worried about, unity of your team, if you felt to continue on?
I think we're all professionals, so I think, you know, if the environment is exactly how you want it, you still get on with the job and you do the right job. I think the feedback's been had for the last 2 years, and yeah, it's a difference of opinions. And if you can't resolve those differences of opinions, unfortunately, you need change. So that's happened. But I think either way, it's the team's incredibly united. We're it's a great bunch of high quality people that get along fantastically. So I don't think that's an issue at all.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks all. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.